It's not just, you don't get the right to be an American. You follow the law, you go through the process, and you actually buy into the American understanding. That's what's happening here, but this is being done on purpose. Everyone watching tonight needs to understand this. This is their policy. Chaos is their policy.
And now when they say they don't believe in walls, that's still a conversation for them. Tell the Secret Service tomorrow, tell them to take down the fencing walls around the White House. I don't think they'll have any of that, because walls do work, fences do work, buoys, barbed wire do work, concertina wire.
Trying to get into the DHS. Dan, you ever been to DHS's headquarters? Try to get in there. That's pretty tough, by the way. To be able to get there.
Absolutely. They do know wall work. They work, and they would work along the border. Trump was building it, Biden stopped it. And I'm going to keep a close eye on this war. I'm going to see down in Stark County how much they really build. You know, check with me every 2 weeks. I don't think we're going to see much more.
One time, man. They want to be perceived as we're doing something right quick, but then they to the left wing and say, oh no, we don't think walls work. But they know they're in trouble. They are in great political danger, which is the only thing that gets their attention.
I think we're going to see that with some of the local races in November 29th, only a month away. Last year, the crime was a big issue. There were a lot of big issues here in New York. But this migrant crisis at a whole other level. So now the people worrying about this, and they start getting scared. They might lose House seats because of it. So you're right. It was a few weeks ago you predicted it, and they're motivated not because of rule of law, not by Constitution, not because the nation.
Well, the carnage. They don't even care that their own activists are getting murdered in the streets by criminals or illegal immigrants.
Put out a loud message to everyone who's coming. Stop coming to our country. We don't want you to keep coming like this. Follow the rules. Instead, they want to fast-track TPS. They want to give you more goodies.
Well, I think if you had been elected governor, I mean, that's a blow smoke toward you, but if you had been elected governor, what would you have done differently in handling this? How would you have reacted to this? Because it probably still some of migrants, although maybe not as many, because two of them are from
New York's a sanctuary state. New York City is a sanctuary city. They tried to give non-citizens the right to vote starting this November. Clashes in New York City. Fortunately, the courts threw it out. But all these goodies would be people. There's a bad RP today. She had some family was going to a hotel in New York City. They're trying to get a free room, so they're all dressed up as illegal immigrants. It's something that has people concerned about the impact on education, on healthcare, and other resources. It's breaking.
Madeline, New York is moving to suspend the right to shelter mandate, saying that it should be relieved of its obligations, and the number of homeless people seeking shelter grew by 50% over a period of time. Now, talk about words to little, words to late. I mean, it's all over. And here in Midtown, I mean, you can see the problem everywhere, but now they're we're going to get rid of the right to shelter law.
It's 30 days in, 30 days out. That has been the rule in the shelter system for years. I know homeless people, the woman sits outside of my job. She was sitting there for 5 years. Okay, she'll disappear for 30 days because that's when she can go back in. But then 30 days she has to be out. So this is what you're talking about. They're going to recycle these illegals through the shelter system. 30 days in, 30 days out. Now, keep in mind, these people are from privates. Okay, what's going to happen in the wintertime? Well, a lot of them, all right? What's going to happen in the wintertime when they find themselves outside without...
There'll be people dying in the street, and Democrats will not, even when people are dying in the streets, they'll walk over the dead bodies of migrants or walk past the girls who are being trafficked, which is happening all over New York City, by the way, on scooters. They're using those scooters to deposit prostitutes all over the city, right from the Roosevelt Hotel. Two police officers tell me that today. They don't care. They don't care. Open borders is a fanatic addiction on their part. They want it. They want to change this country. End of story. And they're doing it.
Even heaven has borders.
You know, Laura, the great sin of this country is slavery. This is the second great sin of how they're destroying our country, and they're absolutely destroying lives. American lives, people coming here crossing the water, their lives, they're under the thumb of the cartel, women children being sex trafficked. This is the second big sin, and it's a sin of the Biden administration. He has blood on his hands, he has a cold heart, he doesn't care, and you're right, that this is all about 15, 20 years from now, the long game. Everyone becomes a citizen, or children are citizens with
The brave women, the women of the Roanoke College swim team, say they felt after being told that a man was joining their women's team. The transgender student previously competed as a man for the men's team and sat out last year to transition. But instead of accepting this in silence, the brave women on the team, they fought back.
I never expected to be blindsided by a teammate who was going to directly against me and my teammates. Why would I even try to swim? I was going to have to race against a wall or a man is not protecting me. Getting to the line is not protecting me. I cannot eat, could not sleep, and spent a lot of time dealing with that. It was hard to even function because every woman I had was being consumed with what I was supposed to accept as a new woman. A woman that I never agreed to be part of.
Joining me now is Tulsi Gabbard, Fox News contributor, former Hawaii Congresswoman. Tulsi, now it took guts for these young women to speak out as they did. The transgender student ended up leading the team. But why did this have to happen in the first place? I mean, and again, this is more of the damage caused by the nod of the Biden administration. More of the damage being done, and they don't care. This is their policy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When you look at the courage that these young women displayed, not only standing up to the administrators of their school who took no action to have their back, standing up to NCAA who took no action to have their back. As you mentioned, they're standing up not only to the nod of the Biden-Harris administration, the Democrat elite, but this active agenda to essentially commit the most horrible act of hatred towards women, which is to tell us that we don't exist. Democrat politicians in Washington saying, hey, if Mike Tyson were today say, you know what, I identify as women, he should be allowed to go and fight against women competitively. It is absolute insanity. They are denying the existence of objective truth, and therefore they're saying that the experience of these swimmers in Roanoke and other female athletes in high school and college, literally saying this is just a manufactured narrative, not at all interested in listening to the voices of these girls and women who they simultaneously profess to fight for as feminists and fighting for equality. They are not interested in the well-being of these girls and women at all.
Yeah, so people say, well, how do you get the women's vote? How do you get women to turn out and look for other political alternatives other than the Democrats? This is one of the top issues, along with the economy, of course. Being pro-women and pro-girls, pro-girl power, and yet you're supposedly, you're okay with biological men competing against them? Just destroys everything they tried to do for their entire lives. Well, sports-wise. And again, I want to point back to these girls' courage because whether they realize it or not, they are inspiring a lot of other girls and women to find their own voice in speaking up, which is a hell of a lot more courage than a lot of these Democrat politicians I know in Washington who are parents of little girls, and yet who either remain silent or continue to advocate for this insanity that there is no such thing as a woman. I'd like to see if they change their tune when their little girl decides to go and join a swim team or a judo team or a jiu-jitsu or wrestling team and compete against a biological male who clearly has that physical advantage. Now, Tulsi, the Angle spoke with one of the team captains, Lily, who told us that at the first practice, as a woman, the trans swimmer launched off the starting block with a full body's length advantage over the girl swimmers. And with barely a week of training after taking a year off, he came within